The day my divorce became official, I packed 2 suitcases, held my children's hands, and boarded the first flight to Edinburgh without looking back. While I was trying to rebuild our lives, my ex-husband and his wealthy family gathered at a luxury maternity clinic to celebrate his mistress, and the baby they believed would inherit everything. None of them knew the doctor was about to reveal a truth that would destroy every lie they had built their future on. Before we continue, if you enjoy emotional family stories about betrayal, justice, and unforgettable karma, subscribe now because every story reminds us that the truth always finds its way home. I believed my marriage would survive every hardship because I had stood beside my husband through years of financial struggles, family pressure, and endless sacrifices. When his business finally became successful, everything changed. Money transformed the people around him. His parents suddenly treated me like I no longer belonged in their wealthy world, while my husband became distant, cold, and strangely protective of his phone. I ignored every warning sign because I wanted my children to grow up with both parents together, even if it meant pretending I was still loved. The truth finally arrived on an ordinary afternoon when I found messages proving he had been secretly seeing another woman for almost 2 years. Instead of apologizing, he calmly admitted that he wanted a divorce because his new partner was expecting a baby. His parents immediately supported him, saying their family deserved a fresh beginning with someone younger and more sophisticated. They even suggested my children would eventually understand why their father had chosen happiness over responsibility. Those words hurt more than the divorce papers themselves. A week before the divorce hearing, an anonymous envelope appeared in my mailbox containing copies of financial documents and a handwritten note saying someone inside the family wanted me to know the whole truth. The document suggested large amounts of money had quietly disappeared from company accounts shortly before my husband announced the divorce. I did not know who had sent the evidence, but something told me not to ignore it. Instead of confronting anyone immediately, I quietly kept every page safe and contacted a respected private investigator. While the investigator began examining the financial records, I focused on protecting my children from the emotional storm around us. The divorce became official, and within hours we boarded a flight to Edinburgh to stay with my aunt. My children cried during takeoff because they believed they would never see their father again. I smiled through my own tears and promised them that sometimes losing people who hurt us is the first step toward finding peace. That promise became the strongest thing I had ever said. Back in our old city, my former husband was living the life he had dreamed about. His wealthy parents organized an expensive family gathering at a private maternity clinic to celebrate the ultrasound of his mistress and the future heir everyone expected. 7 members of the family proudly attended, laughing together and discussing inheritance, property, and business plans. They believed they had already won while I was starting over with almost nothing, hundreds of miles away. The celebration ended the moment the doctor entered the room carrying several test results. After carefully reviewing every report, the doctor calmly explained that there was a serious medical inconsistency requiring immediate discussion. Additional laboratory testing confirmed that my ex-husband could not be the biological father of the unborn child. The room fell completely silent. His parents looked at each other in disbelief while his mistress desperately tried to explain the impossible. Every smile disappeared within seconds. Around the same time, my private investigator called with remarkable news. The missing company money had not been stolen by me, as my former in-laws had secretly claimed. Instead, the evidence showed that my ex-husband and one of his trusted business partners had hidden large sums through fake contracts before filing for divorce. Even more shocking, several family members had signed documents without reading them carefully, unknowingly making themselves legally responsible for the fraud. The anonymous envelope had saved me from becoming the perfect scapegoat. If this story had surprised you so far, take a second to like and share this video, because stories like this remind us that the truth always arrives when lies become too comfortable. Authorities quickly opened a financial investigation. News spread throughout local business circles, and reporters gathered outside the company headquarters. My ex-husband desperately tried to blame everyone except himself, but every document pointed directly back to him. Friends disappeared, investors withdrew support, and business partners refused to answer his calls. The same relatives who had celebrated his new future now argued among themselves, each trying to escape responsibility before the scandal became national news. Only days later, the woman he had abandoned his family for packed her belongings and disappeared before police interviews even began. She left behind a short message admitting she could not survive the public humiliation and legal pressure. My former husband finally experienced the loneliness he had forced upon me. Wealth, status, and expensive celebrations could not protect him from the consequences of deception. Karma had arrived without anger, without revenge, and without mercy. Several months later, he traveled to Edinburgh hoping I would forgive him and allow him back into our lives. Our children met him in a quiet park where he apologized through tears. My oldest son looked directly at his father and calmly said that trust is not something money can replace after it has been broken. Those simple words carried more weight than every courtroom decision and every public scandal combined. My ex-husband lowered his head because he finally understood what he had truly lost. Today, my children and I live peacefully in Edinburgh. We own a small home filled with laughter instead of arguments, honesty instead of secrets, and hope instead of fear. Looking back, I realized the divorce was never the end of my life. It was the beginning of a future where respect mattered more than wealth. Sometimes karma does not arrive to destroy your enemies. Sometimes it arrives to rescue you from people who never deserved your loyalty in the first place. Some people believe money decides who wins. I learned that character decides who survives. The people who celebrated my downfall eventually watched their own world collapse because every lie has an expiration date. If this story touched your heart, remember that betrayal may delay justice, but it can never prevent it. If you believe karma always finds the truth, like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more unforgettable, true-style family stories.